All right, so we're back, and you know what that means. It's time for another deep dive, and this time we're going to tackle the ending of Anora.
Okay.
It's been generating a lot of buzz online and offline,
Oh, yeah.
especially after that interview with Mikey Madison in Elle Magazine. Um, she really gave us a lot to think about,
Absolutely.
and especially when you think about that final scene.
Hmm.
It's such a stark contrast to how the film begins.
It is. It is. Yeah, we start off, in that really vibrant club scene,
Oh, yeah.
neon lights, pulsing music.
High energy.
And then we end up in, this quiet, snowy car. Just the sound of the windshield wipers.
And just this palpable tension,
Yeah, yeah.
unspoken tension between Ani and Igor.
Unspoken tension. Yeah, totally. Quite a cinematic shift for sure.
It is. It really underscores Ani's journey, doesn't it?
Right.
Because she starts out, as this like powerful dancer, right?
Mm.
She's in control of her sexuality. She's in control of her work. And then, like, by the end, she's thrust into this completely different world.
Yeah, and it's
She's practically held captive.
Yes.
She's trying to escape this forced marriage.
Yeah, it's almost like the air gets sucked out of the film as her agency slowly gets taken away.
Exactly.
You see this woman who was so in control in the beginning, and then by the end, she's just grappling with these forces that are so much larger than herself.
And Mikey Madison captures that so perfectly. She talked in the interview, right, about how nervous she was
Oh, yeah.
filming that final scene, like how much pressure she felt
Huge pressure.
to convey the weight of Annie's experience in that one single moment.
Yeah. I mean, she talks about how she was practically trembling before they started rolling. But then she said when she finally saw the final cut and she saw that single tear roll down her face, she said it was like watching all of Ani's pain and resilience just like converge in that single tear. It was powerful.
Oh my gosh, it's such a haunting image.
Yeah.
I can't get it out of my head.
It's a quiet moment,
Yes.
but it speaks volumes.
Exactly. And I think that's why the ending has sparked so much debate online.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone seems to have a different interpretation.
So many different interpretations.
And even Madison herself, she said that she sees those interpretations as a reflection of the viewer,
Right.
which is really interesting.
It's like a mirror, to our own understandings of like power, consent, relationships. Yeah.
Huh.
It's just fascinating how this one scene can just elicit such a wide range of responses from people.
It's amazing. Some people see hope.
Yeah.
Some people see despair. Some people think that Ani's manipulative. And then, some people see her as the victim.
Yeah. It's
It-
pretty incredible.
I mean, you remember that guy that Madison mentioned in the interview?
Yeah.
The one who thought that Ani was just trying to get pregnant to trap Igor for his money?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that was one interpretation that she really struggled with. I can only imagine. But it goes to show how, like, our own biases and our own experiences can really color how we perceive a story.
It's like we're all watching the same film,
Right.
but we're seeing it through completely different lenses.
Totally.
And I think that's
Yeah, and what makes this ending even more intriguing is how the film plays with the power dynamic
yeah,
between Ani and Igor, you know?
totally.
Because he's been both, like, her captor and her confidant.
It's true.
Right. And then in that final scene, like, everything changes.
It takes a turn.
It takes a real turn. Yeah, it really is. Like, suddenly Ani is the one who's taking charge,
Oh, yeah.
She climbs into his lap,
Yeah.
initiates the intimacy, and then just as quickly
She pulls back.
pulls away. Like, what just happened?
It's so powerful, right?
Yes.
It's like she's testing the waters,
Yeah.
right? Seeing how much control she could exert in a situation where she's felt completely powerless up until this point.
Yeah. And you see that struggle reflected in his reaction, too,
Yeah.
Igor, like, he tries to pull her closer, but she resists.
And then, like that,
And then that emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
It's so raw and emotionally charged, It leaves us with so many questions.
Right.
What just happened?
was that genuine consent in that moment?
Yeah.
Was that just purely transactional?
Right.
Or was it something more like, was she reaching out for some kind of connection in the midst of all this?
The film doesn't give us any easy answers.
It does.
And that's what I like about it.
It really makes you think.
It's not a simple black and white situation,
Yeah.
It's more complicated than that. There's layers of manipulation and vulnerability on both sides.
I think that's where Madison's point about the gendered reactions is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned in the interview how men and women tend to interpret the ending so differently.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, are we as viewers projecting our own experiences and biases onto these characters? Are we judging her actions based on societal expectations of how women should behave?
Right, exactly.
It's crazy.
It's a lot to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Madison refused to give her own interpretation only adds to the complexity.
Yeah. It's almost as if she's saying, I'm not going to spoon-feed you the answer.
Yeah.
I want you to sit with the discomfort, wrestle with the ambiguity, and come to your own conclusions.
It's such a refreshing approach.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age,
Totally.
where everyone wants instant gratification.
Yeah.
Everyone wants definitive answers. And here she's like, nope, I'm not giving it to you.
And it forces us to engage with the film on a much deeper level.
It does.
And to really think critically about those themes it's exploring.
That's what makes Anora so powerful. It doesn't shy away from the messiness, the complicated reality of human relationships.
Totally.
It forces us to confront those gray areas,
Right.
those blurred lines,
Right.
between love and control,
Yeah.
vulnerability and manipulation.
It's like the film is holding up this mirror
I love that.
to our own perceptions
Yes.
of power dynamics.
Especially between men and women.
Exactly. And what we see in that reflection might not always be comfortable.
That's where the power of art really lies,
Yeah.
right? To challenge those assumptions, to provoke those difficult conversations, and ultimately to leave us with more questions than answers.
For sure.
I know for me personally, it's made me re-examine my own beliefs
Oh, yeah.
about consent, agency, the complexities of human connection.
Totally.
And, for me, that's the mark of great storytelling.
It's that lingering feeling.
Yes.
It stays with you long after the credits have rolled. You think about the characters, you replay the scenes in your mind. You're trying to make sense of it all. And in a way, that's exactly what she wanted.
It is. Remember she said that she wanted the audience to feel it strongly, whatever feeling it is.
Oh, she definitely achieved that.
She nailed it.
And what's interesting is that even though the ending's open to interpretation,
Right.
there's still that underlying sense of unease that kind of just pervades the final scene.
That's what makes it so unsettling, right?
You're left wondering, is she truly free?
Exactly.
Or has she just traded one form of control for another?
Like, is this a genuine relationship with Igor?
Yeah.
Or is it just another chapter in her struggle for survival?
Yeah. It's like the film's asking us, is true agency even possible in a world where power dynamics are so deeply entrenched?
Yeah, it really does feel like that question just kind of hangs there.
It does.
Even after the screen fades to black.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not about giving us neat resolutions, It's really about prompting us as viewers to grapple with these complexities ourselves and to consider how, societal structures, power dynamics,
Personal histories,
yeah, all converge to shape these individual choices that we make.
You said earlier that the ending felt unsettling.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good word for it.
It is.
Because there's that lingering tension.
Like this feeling that we've only glimpsed the surface of something much deeper.
Right. Yeah. And more intricate.
Yeah.
Than what we've seen.
It's like the final scene is just like the beginning of another chapter.
Right.
And we're left to imagine what happens next.
Right, exactly. All the possibilities.
Possibilities.
Both hopeful and troubling.
Yeah.
For Ani and Igor.
Going back to what Madison said about wanting the audience to feel it strongly.
Yeah.
Whatever that feeling may be.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what feeling resonated most with you after watching that final scene?
I think for me, it was a mix of empathy and uncertainty.
Great.
Like empathy for Ani's journey.
Yeah.
And for the incredible strength that she displays even in the face of so much adversity, but also uncertainty.
Oh, yeah?
About what the future holds for her. Did she reclaim any of her agency in that last act? Or is she just moving from one form of dependence to another?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's one that each viewer has to answer for themselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Nope.
It's just this spectrum of possibilities.
Right.
And it's all shaped by, our own individual perspectives and experiences.
And isn't that the beauty of art? Its ability to just spark these internal dialogues, challenge us to examine our own beliefs and biases.
Has those hard conversations.
Yeah, and engage in those meaningful conversations about really complex issues.
Anora is more than just entertainment, isn't it?
Oh, so much more.
Like a catalyst.
Absolutely.
For reflection, for critical thinking.
It pushes us to confront those uncomfortable truths about power, consent, and, ultimately the resilience of the human spirit.
It does.
And in a world that's often defined by easy answers and quick fixes,
Yeah.
that kind of thought-provoking art is more valuable than ever.
So for everyone listening out there, as you continue to process that ending,
Yeah.
consider this. In that final scene, did you see a glimmer of hope for Ani's future? Or a descent into another layer of control?
That's the question.
Keep pondering, keep the conversation going, and as always, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.